We have the one and only Amitabh Bachchan. But one man who has greater impact, greater charisma, greater popularity than anybody else, believe me, Amitabh Bachchan. Welcome, Amitabh Bachchan.
Thank you.
Yeah, you used to, in fact, even when you came to Bombay, it took you used to take the train to the studio, but you wouldn't walk in. You'd go back by the train.
Yeah, but that was for other reasons. That's because the Darwan used to prevent me from going in.
That wasn't shyness.
Yeah, it was one of the studios in Filmistan, actually.
Yeah.
And I used to go there to visit Mr. Manoj Kumar because he asked me to come and see him. So every time I went up to the gate, the Darwan would shoo me away. So this happened for 7 days, and I thought that perhaps it was because I was walking into the gates that was why I was being refused. So I took a train from Churchgate, came up to Goregaon, and took a cab.
Oh, that was...
And that was allowed
last
in.
of the
that's
big
how I
spenders.
got in. Lost a lot of money taking a cab,
Right.
but it worked.
Because you've seen tough times as well. You used to earn how much when you started?
When I was working in Calcutta, 500 rupees a month.
500. So, you know, those of you who are shy and are finding it tough to get a job, have faith. So I'm here at an interview, and I'm the guy at the other side of the desk and say, Mr. Bachchan, nice to meet you. What are your strengths and weaknesses?
I'd like to leave, sir. I don't want this job.
No, seriously, what are your strengths and weaknesses?
It's very difficult, Pranay, to be able to say that. But most of the jobs that came up in Calcutta at that time just demanded that you be a graduate, that you be able to play golf.
And you didn't play golf?
And have your gin and lime in the afternoon for lunch, because that's what the atmosphere was.
Which you did, I hope.
Yeah, a lot of times we were forced into doing that because it made good sense, it made
Must have been
sense.
tough to force you to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
But basically that was it. And if you dressed well and if you spoke well, I guess then you were put into this training scheme of that company, and thereafter everything else took over.
And you spoke Bengali as well?
I didn't, but but after joining a company, one of the rules was that we'll pay you $3,000 if you learn Bengali. And just for the lure of 3,000 rupees, which was like $1 million at that time, we took this money and spent it on all the other things except learning Bengali. And finally be able to just last minute get some of your friends to teach you a few important words and pass this examination. But it was
So you passed a Bengali examination?
Yeah, we did, actually.
And Calcutta and Bengal has a special place in your heart?
Oh, yes, of course. Because my first job was in Calcutta and then spent 6 wonderful years.
Talking about tough things in life, if there's one thing is, in my opinion, you're a fighter. You've had a lot of setbacks. You had a terrible illness, you had a setback in your career, you had financial setback, all these setbacks, but you fought those interviews which you didn't get in, and then you you fought and came to Bombay. Can you tell these youngsters, what does failure mean, and what do you feel at that time, and how do you fight back?
I think that failure is a part of every human being's life. To think that failure is never ever going to come to you is the first mistake. It is bound to come some point of time. Even if you're riding a huge wave of success, I think it's important that at the back of your mind, you should be wary that tomorrow everything can go wrong. And whenever I think like this, I immediately think, okay, suppose I was to lose everything. What is the bottom line that would keep me comfortable? So I go back to where I was born and how I was brought home in a tonga, wrapped in a gudri, and I say, the worst is that things can't go worse than that. I'll sleep on the floor, I'll sleep on the pavement. So you look at the bottom line.
Right. And that makes you feel it's not that bad.
I think that
gives you strength?
You feel that if you're prepared for the worst, a lot of people can say, look, I can't do without a house with 10 bedrooms, or I need 2 cars and I need a phone, and everyone has different priorities. But I think that what I feel is that I think about the bottom line, And when it isn't too difficult to cope with, I feel very satisfied. From there on, you say, okay, this is where I am. I have to move forward from here. This is the worst scenario. Now I must move forward. So every day you keep pegging away, digging at something, poking at something. Right. And even if it's a centimeter that you move forward, at least you move forward. I'm always reminded of an incident of my father's. We used to live in Delhi at Willingdon Crescent, which is near Teen Murti House, where Panditji used to stay. And at that time, the diplomatic enclave, which is now very, very habitated, was just wilderness and wild jungle. And he used to go for his morning walk in that region. And he used to leave at 3, 4 in the morning and come back at 5, 6. And he developed a taste for looking at rocks on the road and finding some kind of an image or a figure in it. And he would bring it home and with just a stroke of a paintbrush, bring out that image and, or just leave the stone like that and say, look, this looks like a bird or this looks like a human. And he developed this thing. One day he came back from his walk and he woke me up, as he normally would, at 6 in the morning and say, can you just help me? I've got something which I cannot lift, so help me bring it in. So I went to the gate and there was a huge boulder about this size. And I said, look, you can't possibly think that I can move this. So we called about 10, 20 people and they pushed this huge boulder and brought it into our veranda where he wanted it to be put. That done, I asked him, look, this is fine, but how did this come up to the gate? So he said, I went for my walk. I saw this huge rock. I saw this shape in it, and I liked it. I wanted to move it. So every day I go, I move it 1 inch, and I come back. In 3 months, it's landed up at the gate.
Fantastic.
So really, it's a great example that, if you just keep pushing something every day, it may look small, but I think the important thing is that you're moving forward. And there is some amount of satisfaction that you've done something which is somewhere giving you some satisfaction, and that eventually you will bring that huge boulder to its destination.
Well, you've already moved a lot of boulders in your life.